Hi there, everyone. My name is Sarah Hunstead. I am a paediatric nurse. I'm a mum of two and I'm founder of CPR Kids. And I would like to say thank you so much to Mudge and Gal for having me again today. I'm so excited that we get to do more of these child health Facebook Live segments. I love doing them. I thank you so much for having me, to everyone at Mudge and Gal. And I am coming to you today from Gadigal land. And I have got my kids here on Zoom at school. I've also got all sorts of things going on. So I apologise if the broadband doesn't cut it and that I drop out. I will be back on here if it doesn't happen that way. But before we go any further, I would like to extend my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples watching, and of course acknowledge the millennia of medical knowledge that comes before me. So thank you, because I am learning so much. We're talking about these things today. What is this? Just make sure I'm getting up to my camera there. There you go. That is a lithium ion battery. So these things are in everything, basically, around your house. They come in different sizes. So this is the coin size button battery. There are smaller ones as well. There's bigger ones. And they are in everything from car keys to musical birthday cards, remote controls, torches. I remember once my daughter was given a little book lamp. So this little lamp thing that kind of sits on top of a book, and it's like a torch, just a fun kid's torch. And it had 4 of little button batteries in it with, no safety cover on them. So these things are everywhere. They're in your home, and often we've got the spare ones just sitting in the junk drawer in our kitchen, all that kind of stuff. So what I want to do today, first of all, feel free to ask questions. Type them in the comments down below, okay? And I will do my best to answer them. Please tag anyone in the comments below who you think will benefit from this information too. And also, we're going to be going through prevention, so how to prevent your child from eating or inserting one of these, and also what to do if they do swallow one of these, because this is a medical emergency. If a child swallows or inserts a button battery, it can burn through and cause life-threatening damage within 2 hours. Okay, so that's why this is really, really, really important information to know. Okay, so every month, one child in Australia is admitted to hospital with serious life-threatening injuries from either inserting, and what do I mean by inserting? I mean sticking one of these in their nose, in their ear, in their genitals. That's what I mean by inserting them, or swallowing them. So yes, they are a choking risk, but also they are a risk if they are simply swallowed as well. Okay, so one child a month, that's actually a lot. Okay, it is a lot. So what can we do to help prevent our kids from getting hold of one of these? Well, first of all, be aware of what they are in. That's a really important thing. So thinking about, as I said before, the musical birthday cards, the candles often that have got, the little electric candles, they've got that little flame that lights up, car keys, remote controls, children's toys. They are in so many things like that, but they are supposed to have a compartment that is screwed down. So if you have them, please make sure that the compartment is secure. Think about that if it is just removing something from your home, if it does not have a secure compartment. And often what we can do is tape things up as well to add a little bit more security if we must have them around. Okay, so thinking about the things and being aware of what in our house has them. If you are changing the button batteries over, so, you've got, for example, your car keys, the button battery in them has died, and so then you need to swap it over for a fresh one, making sure that you are concentrating while you're doing it with it, the kids aren't around, and that you immediately take that dead button battery, because you know what? It's not really dead. Even one that is not powering an appliance because it's dead can still absolutely cause a lot of damage. Okay, so what we're going to do is use some sticky tape, and we are going to tape up that button battery just like this over and over. There we go. So that is much safer, so that if a child was to grab that, it's more of a deterrent. And I'll explain why this will actually help, because it won't cause that charge, it will cause the burns. And then you're going to either dispose of them in an outside dip bin, but preferably recycling them is the best way to go. Not in your normal recycle bin. You need to take them to a dedicated button battery or battery recycling place, such as, depending on what your council does, you can find out with them, or Officeworks, places like that will actually recycle batteries. Okay, so that is what you're going to do when you dispose of them. You're going to make sure that when you put the new button battery in, that it is secured down really well. And if you have spare button batteries left, so you might have your button battery packet, you've got a spare one in there, you're making sure that you are taping that up really, really well, and then putting those button batteries up and out of reach. So don't leave them in the junk drawer in your kitchen. Everyone's got a junk drawer in their kitchen. You know, it's that where you put all your crap in. Not that one. Make sure you put the battery up where you keep your medicine. All right. So you always keep your medicine up out of reach, often that cupboard that's, you know, above the fridge. So make sure you keep them up out of reach where the kids can't get to them. Or if you've got a locked cupboard, anything like that, being able to put them up and out of way there is really, really important. So that's a bit about prevention. But accidents happen. Accidents happen. They do. Sometimes we're unaware. Sometimes, you know, for example, recently that footy game, footy game in Queensland, I think. And what happened was that they gave those light bracelets out to everybody who was at the footy game. These just easily popped out of them. Can you imagine how many kids were able to get their hands on them then? So accidents happen. So what you're going to do is that if your child does swallow a button battery, you're going to stay calm. Let me explain why you need to act quickly though, because what happens is that when saliva comes in contact with a button battery, it has a chemical reaction that causes a charge. And then this chemical reaction can cause burns, so burns to the esophagus, burns to the internal organs, burns to the inside of the nose, and so on. Basically, it just starts burning. Now, I'm going to show you a picture now. If you're squeamish, turn away. But we did an experiment a while ago at CPR Kids with a chicken fillet. So this is a chicken fillet. We put a button battery on the chicken fillet, and it shows you what can happen in just a few hours. So you can see here, this is just the same button battery. I think it was actually out of the same packet that I've got there. And we put it inside the chicken fillet, folded the chicken fillet over the top, and you can see the damage that happened in 2 hours. Look at those burns. It's absolutely incredible, the amount of burns. I'll just make that picture a bit bigger for you. So you can certainly see the damage that caused in just 2 hours. Okay. So that's why it's incredibly important that we keep these out of reach. All right. So what are we going to do? If your child does swallow one of these, if they are having any difficulty breathing, you are calling an ambulance immediately and follow the operator's instructions. Be prepared to start CPR if they become unconscious with abnormal or no breathing, but you're going to follow the operator's instructions. So if they're having any difficulty breathing or they have become unconscious, so they've choked on the button battery, okay, it's blocking their airway, you are calling immediately for an ambulance, okay? And then following doctor's ABCD. If you don't know what doctor's ABCD is, then you need to do a paediatric first aid class. We've got lots of online ones going at the moment, okay? But what else? If your child, for example, has swallowed the button battery, okay? So they've either told you or you've witnessed it happen or you suspect that it has happened. So even if you suspect, okay, so you might come along, you might find a musical birthday card that's been ripped open and the battery's gone, for example, okay? So what you're going to do is you are going to call poisons information on 13 11 26, okay? So I'll just pop that up on the screen. Okay, here we go. You are calling poisons information on 13/11/26. Remember, this is only if your child is breathing normally, but you either think they have or suspect that your child has swallowed a button battery or inserted a button battery. You're going to ring Poisons Info. Why? Okay, because they have got very specific instructions that you will need to follow. Not all hospitals are equipped to deal with a button battery emergency. They will direct you and call ambulance and be able to coordinate what to do, because this is a medical emergency. Okay. Out on social media at the moment, you'll have seen there's a lot of stuff about immediately giving children who've swallowed a button battery honey. Okay. At the moment, the guidelines from Poisons Information is, can you please call them? They will tell you whether or not that is something you need to do. Those guidelines may change in the future, but at the moment, what they are asking is call them first. They will direct you what to do and where to go. So follow their instructions about that, okay? Don't give your child anything to eat or drink unless it is instructed by Poisons Info to do so, okay? All right, so that is an important thing. And then they will take care, tell you exactly what to do, and that's an important thing, okay? So I hope that has, been useful, really being able to think, okay, if they are having difficulty breathing, that's the priority. It's hands down ambulance, okay? So that's really important. But if they're not having difficulty breathing, even if you suspect or have seen that they have swallowed it, Poisons Info 13/11/26 and follow their instruction. Really, really important that you do, okay? So I hope that has been useful. Now, what else do we need to know about these button batteries? Sometimes you might not know that your child has actually swallowed one of these. And, what will you see? So if your child does become unwell, okay, and there are a whole lot of signs and symptoms that are listed that you need to look out for. So, for example, I'm going to show you, because I'm going to pop this in the comments down below. I'm going to share my screen again with you, because there is a really, really good resource, and I'm just going to, let's see, here we go, share. There we go. So this is the Product Safety Australia, and you can see that their Product Safety Australia button battery website. So I'm going to put this in the comments below for you. It talks about button batteries, the risks, some tips about when buying products with button batteries in them. But importantly, it talks as well about symptoms to watch for. So sometimes you may not know that your child has swallowed one, but if they have any of these signs and symptoms, it might be something to keep in your mind and seek medical help. For example, they've had a gagging or choking episode, they're drooling, but more than usual. So they may have pain in their chest, they're grunting with their breath like, okay. They might have a persistent cough and noisy breathing, but we're talking something that may be an acute onset. So they're fine and then this started. Unexplained vomiting, they're refusing to eat or drink as well. They may have bleeding. So if they're vomiting, bright red or black, and if they're poos, they've got some bright red or black. Unexplained fever, abdominal pain, all of these things. If they've got blood coming, like a discharge that's constant coming from their ears or their nose, there's a whole, you think about that and you go, geez, that could be anything. That could absolutely be, my child with a cold, for some of that, it could be, anything like that. But if your child is getting sick, they're becoming unwell with this is sudden onset, just think in your mind is there a possibility that it could be this, okay? So I know that's a bit, all those signs and symptoms can be quite general, but we've got to look at the bigger picture, okay? So I hope this has been useful. Are there any questions? Please feel free to type them in the comments below now if you have any questions about button battery safety. Otherwise, I will sign off for the day. I hope that if you're in lockdown that you are doing okay and that the kids are doing okay too. You know, it's just, we've got to do what we've got to do at the moment, don't we? Hey, so please pop anything down below about what you would like me to talk about as well, because every week while we're in lockdown and hopefully even afterwards as well, I would love to keep doing this with Mudge and Gal so that we can bring you some really good kids health information. So if there's anything that you would like me to talk about, please just pop it in the comments below too. Okay. All right, then I'll see you later, everyone. Okay. Bye-bye.